I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter.
This is the Family Showdown!
Welcome to the Family Showdown, and this is Rebecca's top 100 games of all time, the 2018 version. And today we are going to talk about my favorite 90 through 81. You ready for this?
Sure.
I'm Rebecca, obviously.
And I'm Hunter.
The
Peanut Gallery.
The Peanut Gallery. All right, Peanut Gallery, let's bring on the games. Now, I have the games hidden under a blanket over here so that the Peanut Gallery will be surprised along with you about my choices. It helps for the heckling.
And surprised I will be.
Probably, but you never know. This is my 10 of the new. Only 2 of the games on, is that right? Yes, only 2 of the games out of this 10 were on my list before. 8 out of my 10 are brand new to this list this year.
Crazy.
Yes. One of them, we'll get to that. Actually, we're going to get to that right now. My number 90. Where is my number 90? I did not put my number 90 here. So I will tell you about my number 90 and not show you. Oh, hey, look at you. You cheated and looked. So, Wits and Wagers. Now, this is the party edition. There is a new Vegas edition.
It's actually the Vegas.
Is this the Vegas?
And the Vegas.
Oh, Vegas and the party.
Vegas
That's right.
uses the party edition.
So there you go. Party edition if you want to use the new Vegas stuff, which I believe Hunter is going to show us. And we had the original Wits and Wagers back in the day when they first started. The cool new thing about Vegas is now you've got extra betting going on. You get to bet on who you think is correct, as well as trying to place...
the Vegas one?
Nope, the other side. The other side. So you also can bet on teams. You're like, oh, I think they may know about the answer, so I'm going to put an extra bet down thinking that they got it right. This and that. A lot of fun. I like the way they mix it up. The Dice Tower has used it for their game shows and stuff like that. A lot of fun. We, until recently, just had the original version. And I think, honestly, the reason that this is now on my list, because we've had this for years, and I think Vegas and some of the gameplays that we've had with this is what brought it into my number 90 on the list. Because we got to play some really wacky games of Wits and Wagers. We've had it in our yearly tournament at the house, and that went over really well. It was really funny. We got to play it in this huge, ginormous group with the Dice Tower when they did their game show thing. It's amazing seeing that in different, aspects with a huge player count, small player count. I think it's just kind of broadened the fun that is Wits and Wagers.
Did you explain what the game is?
What the game is? No! I just want to tell you how awesome it is. No, what you have is you get trivia questions. And the neat thing is you don't necessarily need to know about them, but it's going to have something that has a numerical answer. So, what's the top speed that a cheetah runs? Okay, that's a really easy question compared to the ones that they have. But you're going to guess, put whatever number guess you want to put down. And then you lay it out on the map that Hunter showed you, and everybody's placing bets on who they think's closest to the answer. So you're not necessarily betting on your own answer. If you see answers you think may be better, you may be trying to play the odds. There's a lot of different ways you can bet on this. It's a lot of fun with the dynamic between the groups and everything as you're trying to figure out, okay, he might know that question. This is more like his forte. So I'm going to probably bet on his answer versus somebody else. And I don't think they know about that. So you have to think about this, but you have a time limit do all of this. And then you have a range of 7 questions, so you only go 7 rounds. It goes really quickly. It's a fantastic party game. Because again, no one has to be an expert on anything. You're just betting on who you think might have the closest number. Lot of interesting things going on with this game. Wits and wagers. There's that. So, yeah. New to my list, I think, because of plays.
Yep, and it's my number 71.
Yeah, Hunter really liked that. Because you really get into the whole betting and bidding aspect with this one.
Yep, and I know all the answers.
Anyway. All right. My number 89 is one of the 2 that was on the list last year. And it is hiding from you, Automania. This is a very smooth playing Euro game where you are a car factory. You are going to build different cars that, or SUVs or whatever, that have different features for them. And you're trying to go with the market demands. Each round those change, so it might be something like safety features. So you might want to make sure you have safety features in your factory when you build your car. It has these components to it. They will sell for better prices, and you can choose whether you're going to sell it in the U.S. or overseas. One, if you sell in the U.S., I think gives you money, and if you sell it overseas, you get victory points. So there's a balance going on. Do I want to get more money so that I can spend more buying these components for my factory? Do I want to get more victory points? Do I want to add which features? It's really interesting, and it also has this assembly line format on the board. And you have several different tracks, so you can build your cars in different ways. I really enjoy this, and I think this one dropped significantly from 46 to where it is now at 89, and I think the reason why is we've played a lot of these style games in the last year, and I tend to like the heavier ones now of this style of Euro. But this one just has a great theme and really smooth design, and I think it's going to probably stick around for quite a while on my list.
Yeah, I thought this would actually be higher on your list because you really do enjoy it. It's my 143.
Goodness. So yes, very good game.
It's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah, and I like the components. It's a colorful design. It's easy and very intuitive, so you can figure out, once you've played around, you pretty much know how the game works. You don't have to think about it after that. So it's a good one for that. And it's pretty quick, too. It's 60 to 90 minutes. Another one of those that's in the sweet spot for us. All right. My number 88 is the other one that was on my list last year. And it is called Fauna. I guess my trivia games have kind of all landed in the same boat. This one dropped again also. It was number 53, and it's now 88. I think the reason for that is probably, again, just haven't had a chance to play it. Because when we played this, especially with a family, I really love it. This is one of those games where while you're playing it, you might accidentally learn something and you enjoy learning it. Okay, so if you want to sneak in some learning with your kids, this is a great way to go. It's about the animals of the world. So you're going to get a bunch of different cards, trivia cards, and they're going to have, like, antelope. And it's going to have, like, its length or its lifespan, average lifespan. And it's also going to have what regions that it resides. So you're going to be placing cubes down on a giant world map where you're going to guess where this antelope lives, and you get the most points if you get it on those, because some of them are in different areas. Like, say the antelope covers 3 regions, so those 3 ones are going to give you, say, 7 victory points. If you put your cube down in adjacent regions, those are going to give you 3 victory points, and then if you aren't touching it, then you don't get any victory points. So sometimes you might say, oh, I bet, it's again kind of in the same scheme as Wits and Wagers, right? You're like, I think he might know more about that animal. So if he puts this somewhere, I might want to put my cube near what he did. Or the opposite, of course. And this one is, I find it interesting because you've got a whole range. Some of these things, like it might be a common house mouse. That thing is in 20 different regions. So you get victory points out the ears, you think. But the victory points, because it covers so many areas, is only like 2 victory points per region you get correct. Whereas like the antelope, if it's only in 3, those are going to be 7 points each. So depending on how widespread they are, you get more points. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety to it. And there are, I think this has 2 different levels, if I remember correctly. It's got I want to say there's 2 different sides to it. There's some more challenging animals that are more difficult to find. Hunter's going to peek and see. I want to say there was 2. Yeah, these are 2-sided. Yeah. And so I think the black side is the more challenging one, just from the pictures that I'm seeing here. And then they've got some. So there's a lot. We have yet to go through all of the cards, too. And we've played many games of this. But as you can see, here's a bunch of cards. They're all 2-sided. And then here's some that we don't have currently in the card holder. A lot of cards, a lot of animals, really wide variety. We have learned a lot just playing this game. And this is another one that you don't really have to know anything about board games to play this game.
Yeah.
The rules are basic. It's like, guess where this thing is on the map. And then score accordingly. A lot of fun. And one of those that, again, I was really surprised to how much I learned just while playing it. And it's one that the kids seem to get around to. So check that one out. Fauna, my number 88.
It was my 138.
Wow. That's pretty good. Because it's super light and it's just a real basic game.
Yeah, but I like trivia games.
Yeah. And it is. It's interesting. I really like the way they did the map in Fauna, too. The world map.
Yeah.
And the way they did the regions and everything. It's really interesting. So, all right. My next one is also kind of a lightweight family game.
Oh, dear.
You knew this was going to be on my list,
right?
Oh,
my.
Yeah, okay. I knew you'd be like, whatever. But this is my number 87, and it's Say Anything Family Edition. I want to say Nessa picked this out. Did Nessa or Katie? One of the girls picked this out for their family. We have a Valentine's Day tradition. We go and pick out a board game, and Katie picked this out last year or the year before.
It was the year before.
Was it the year before?
It may not have been a Valentine's one. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been
just
a fairly recent acquisition, though.
Yeah.
And this one has... I'm surprised that the cover looks so nice and shiny and new still, because we have played the snot out of this. We have played this a lot. The girls, especially now that Nessa can read and write on her own, this game has flown off the shelf more than we probably want to think. And normally I would say this kind of game would get tiresome to me, but this one's been one that's been really fun to repeat, because every time the girls pick something completely different for their answers. You never know what the answer is going to be for them, because you're reading a question from your perspective. So like this one, the example cards, they say, what would make long car rides more fun? So if I'm reading it, they're going to answer what they think I would choose to make car rides more fun. You never know what the kids are going to pick for that answer.
They usually pick things for themselves.
Not always, though. Sometimes they just pick some off-the-wall thing, and you're like, you really think I would like that? Yeah, you know, just... You don't know, you know, out of their imagination. And I think that's why I like this game so much, is it just kind of lets your imagination go. And we have a lot of fun laughing about the choices that people pick and why you picked that answer, and people get points for this and that. A lot of fun. Again, you can play this with anybody. It's family edition, so it's family friendly. Your kids can play this. You're not going to have any weird or awkward questions in this version. You might in some of the other versions. So there are different versions. Or Say Anything, just the generic game, right? And that's more adult-oriented. I wouldn't say, like, adult-oriented, but this one's kid-friendly. I'll put it that way. So, and again, the super light party game is probably not in your top list.
It might have made my top 500. Maybe.
It's a good game. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right. My number 86 is new this year. And definitely not I wouldn't say definitely not a family game, but if you're a board gaming family, it might be one of your games. This one is called Fields of Green. And this one is another one. I really like tile placement or engine building, and in this case, field building games. And this game has this, and it's very smooth design. You're building up an engine where you want to have your field, so you're going to be planting certain crops you want them to harvest, but you need them to have water. They need access to water, so they have to be a certain distance away from your wells. You also have farm animals, and they also need to have either a quick source of food or water, depending on what they are. And everyone's got this specialty. So it's one of those, again, where you place your cards affects how the benefits or detriments are to them. And I really enjoy finding that balance and making sure, okay, I've got to build up my engine to make sure I've got enough water in the wells to water all my crops so that I can get the harvest, so that I can feed all of my animals, get these victory points, blah, blah, blah. And each turn you're getting new cards and you have to balance it all out again. And it's a farm theme, and it's well designed. I like the art to it. I think it's really pretty. Just, it's a smooth playing game. There's a space version that's a little bit less meaty, I would say, that's Among the Stars. I think it's also Stronghold, isn't it? Among the Stars? Yeah, the Stronghold came out with. So it's almost one of those, again, where you have a choice. Do you want to do farming, or do you want to do something and build a space station? Depending on which theme you prefer is which game you would probably pick.
So you're not spoiling your own list?
I might. I will not say. But I'm just saying it's very similar to that game.
Yes.
And I really like the farm. I'm looking at that word and saying different things. I like the farm theme. So.
Yeah, this one's got a little more oomph to it.
Yeah.
I like in Among the Stars, I like the asymmetrical powers, but this one's more, I think there's more going on in it, and I enjoyed this one more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my 134.
Yeah, you love it a lot more.
Oh.
But no, it's relatively new, and I think that may change too with more plays. We've only played this a handful of times.
Among the Stars is 144, I have you know. 134 is 144, so I do like it more.
So there.
That's
right. Fields of Green. Check it out. Next. This one may or may not make you cry.
All right.
We'll see.
All right.
This is new to my list because this is a very new acquisition for us, and we've only played it a couple of times, and I'm already just, wow, this may go up my list next year. We'll see. We'll see what the competition's like this year. Clans of Caledonia. Look at his eyes. He's got crazy eyes. Crazy eyes. My number 85. We just got this, and did you have this game? I don't think we even had this game. This is going to be much higher on Hunter's list next year. Let's just put it that way. That's why I got the crazy eyes. We fell in love with this game. Oh my goodness. The only thing that I find a little bit wonky about it is the way that you score what's a different village, because you actually separate your villages by a body of water. And for some reason, I have trouble wrapping my head.
One little tiny piece of the story.
I know, it's only one little tiny piece of the story. For some reason, that always trips me up and feels clunky to me. But Hunter always sets me straight. And what you're doing is so much fun. You're building... You have asymmetrical clans, for one thing. Everybody's got their own special abilities and starting powers and all this. And you're going through and you're trying to build up your villages. And you're producing cheese and milk and cows and sheep and a brewery and a bakery and whiskey. And I gotta show you some of these pieces. It's ridiculous. They did such a great job. The components are awesome. So you've got... Okay, they're color-coded here, too. So you have whiskey barrels. I'm sure they're tiny. I don't know if you can see them. But I gotta pull these out here.
I'm not gonna be able to see them.
Yeah, you may not be able to see them too well. The meeples are hysterical, though. You have your cows. You have little cows. The cheese are little wedges of cheese. They did everything in special shapes so you can tell everything apart. And they've got the little whiskey barrels, little goofy sheep, the loaves of bread. I gotta show you. Let's see if, again... Maybe difficult to see, but I want to try to show you because they're so darn cute. And they're color-coded for your player, so if you're the blue player, they're all blue. And you're trying to build those up on the map, and each thing costs a certain amount, and you got to kind of balance it. And, of course, your cows are what produce your milk or your cheese.
Well, you take the milk and convert it.
Well, that's true. That's true. It's like a two-step process. So some of the stuff is like the first-step process, and you get some minor benefits with that. And the other thing about this game is the economy. You've got this neat economy aspect to the game. So I decide I'm going to sell my milk. Okay, well, it's going to change and adjust the price of how much someone can buy and sell milk. So there's actually some economic supply and demand changes going on with all of the products. And you're also trying to get things to be worth more. It's really, I really love the dynamic of this game.
Not that much, apparently.
Wow. Okay, so you're saying that 85 is not that much.
No.
It made my top 100. It's a solid game. And we've just started playing it.
Okay.
At the very tail end of 2018, I would like to add.
Okay.
Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter.
So, obviously, it didn't make my list because we had not played it when I made my list.
Yeah.
But just glancing down and doing some rough estimating, I would say it'd be in the 20s somewhere.
Yeah, that's insane. You really, really, really like this game. A lot.
I just wish I would play someone that challenged me at it.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to start logging the scores now, people.
Great game. One of my favorites of the year.
Yeah. 'Tis a good one.
Well, of last year. 2017.
It will be on his top 100 next year.
Maybe. There could be like 100 awesome games that come out next year.
He's already saying after like 2 plays that it's going to be in his 20. Okay. Anyway.
20s-ish.
Ish. Yeah, it's a really good game. And it may jump up my list too, to be honest. Moving on to another new to my list game. My number 84 is Gold West. Now this game, we kind of call this our best under the radar game because it seems like no one's talking about this game. And when we played it, we were pretty wowed by it. It's a lot of fun. And again, this one also has a, I always want to call it Mancala, but it's not, what's the mechanism?
It's kind of Mancala.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of Mancala. You've got a mechanism in the game where if you want to put it down several steps, you're going to get more benefits, but you have to wait longer for it to come to fruition. That being said, so you have to kind of really plan ahead with that. Or you can put it right at the forefront, get just a little bit of benefit, but you're going to get the results faster. And you're going through and you're mining in these areas and getting different resources. And there's different, it's gold, and I don't even remember what the name of the resources are now. Do you remember what the metals were? There's different metals. And you're going through and you're making camps. And there's kind of a, I don't want to say longest road because that's very Catanish, but if you have the largest camp, you get some kind of benefit for that. So you have continuous little campsites. And there's a lot going on with this. And again, the cover doesn't really tell you much, to be honest, but the theme, I don't know, it's just a different theme. I don't see a lot of people going through and having a mining theme. But here's one of the tiles. You can see, like, the colors aren't super bright, but they're very explanatory. It's very clear to see. The pieces are great. They've got great wooden pieces. I really like the way this game was designed, and it's a lot of fun to balance and try to duke it out with your opponent on taking over the territories and controlling areas and getting the resources that you want to build up that engine. So, what did you think about Gold West?
I really like it. I really enjoy it. I do like the resource system where you have to, when you get your resources from your camps, you, like she said, you can choose to either put them further back and get more victory points, or you put them close up for less victory points, but you get to utilize them earlier. But then there's also another level is that you want to get certain combos to come out at the same time. So that may force your hand on where you put it as well, because you want a certain combination of stuff to come out at the same time. No, it's really good. It was my number 61.
Oh, nice. Okay. So not too far off.
Yep,
since that was my 84. Good one. So if you haven't heard about that game, you might go check it out. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. That one was definitely a surprise for us.
It's a good little mid-ish weight Euro game.
I agree. All right. My next one, also new to the list, is my number 83. And here it comes. Oh, it's heavy. And that is Near and Far. This one is a campaign game where you've got characters in a world, and it's got a whole book with different maps, and you're traveling, you go into town, get your resources and your members of your party, you go out and you do adventuring, you're working towards pitching all of your little camps, putting camps down, and once you finish building all of your camps, that kind of triggers the end of that game, and there's multiple games in that. We're kind of mixed feelings now about this game, even since I put this on the list. I have a feeling this may actually drop, and I think part of it is when we hear like a campaign game or legacy game, we think about each episode being able to take things with us into the next one and you're building up. In this particular game in Near and Far, we haven't done the character campaigns yet, but we're doing the regular campaigns. And you start over unless you purchase a character trait, but those are relatively minor things.
And rare.
And very rare. So they don't really affect you that much, to be honest. You don't take anything, any of your equipment, nothing. All of that is completely reset. Your party members, everything is reset every time you go to the next episode or the next map. So it's really been hard for us to keep a connection with our characters and that as we're going through. The storyline, you're going to see some storyline, but again, if you get sidetracked on a side quest, you're going to miss some of the key story plots because instead of getting that storyline that's main for that map, you're going to get your side quest story. So we're on mixed mind about that, but if you can look at it from the point of playing a different game each time on a new map, awesome, a lot of fun. But again, you're starting over every single time. I really enjoy the way that you have these special either artifact tokens or, artifact cards or equipment cards, things that give you benefits, but they cost the resources that you're going to get from your adventuring. So you're going to get gems and coins and things like that, and then you spend those to get, boots that they may let you travel an extra step each time you go out traveling and things like that. And they give you victory points as well, so it's some more for you to tally up. This one has a very wide variety of ways that you can get victory points too. So, did you rank Near and Far?
Yeah, Near and Far was my 62.
Wow.
And that was just from playing the intro campaign, so there was a lot of expectation built into that number. I would say next year will not be on my list at all.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think it's because I went into this game with completely the wrong mindset. I was really looking forward to building up my character and gaining new skills and acquiring items and development. Character. When I think campaign, I think character development becoming more powerful. Getting items, learning new skills of new abilities and things like that. And for me, it feels like I'm just playing the same game over and over and over again. You can definitely, as you said, you definitely can see story arcs in the game that are developing. You can see potentially, now that we played a while, we kind of see where it's heading. But it doesn't feel like a campaign to me. It honestly feels like not even one long big game, because then you would be building your character. It just seems like a series of games that are loosely interconnected. Again, like she said, we haven't played the story, the character stories. Development one. That may be what I'm looking for, maybe in this game, but the campaign is kind of falling flat for me.
Yeah. So I'm curious too about those of you that have played Near and Far, what your thoughts were on the game. So feel free to leave us comments about that, because I really am curious how you felt. Have you done the character campaign? And is it different than the regular campaign?
Yeah.
So let us know about that. Anyway, but that is Near and Far, my number 83. And then my number 82, this one is new to the list. New. I can't say new enough because it's like super new. That is Azul. Yeah, this doesn't surprise you, I don't think. This is technically an abstract game that doesn't look like an abstract game.
No, it looks like an abstract game.
Okay, maybe. But it's colorful and it's gorgeous and I love it. It kind of has a theme, sort of. No. You're building... Shush. You're building a tile or a mosaic, however you want to look at it. And here's your player board. It's absolutely stunning, okay? And if you're going to take and collect a bunch of different tiles, and I'll show you those in a minute because they're beautiful. And you put tiles in. So say you're collecting this here. You take one and you carry it over. So if you built the one that looks kind of like a snowflake here, then you put the extra one away and you're going to get points for putting them on your board. You have too many and you can't fill up these, it overflows past the spots that they have available for you. You break the tile and you get negative points for that. So you have to really balance out, okay, I've only got 2 spaces for this. So I don't want to grab the one that has 5 because then you're going to break a bunch of tiles. So there's this balance and touch and go between your opponents and choosing which tiles. I just dropped something. Choosing the tiles that you want where. And you also get more points for which ones are touching. So if I had already put the snowflake one in and I put this one in, I'm going to get an extra point because they're touching and things like that. So it's got a pretty simple scoring system. The neat thing is, too, if you want a more challenging game, it's got a blank one. And it's still Sudoku style, so each type can only be, there can only be one of each type in each row and each column, but you're designing it. Very cool. The tiles are really, I think I've seen people online referring to them. They look like the Starbursts candies. They look like little candies almost. They're very pretty. There's some of the other colors. But you can see those. They're really easy to use. This game is really easy to teach. And I think it's a great one if you want to bring people into abstract games or board gaming in general. That it's really simple, basic to teach. It's really pretty. It's one of those that when you have it on the table, people are going to ask about it and talk about it. Because this is really a stunning game. One of those that's easy to teach, but at the same time, it's got a lot of strategy behind it. Good for all ability levels, I would say. So, you're not a huge abstract fan. So, what do you think about it as not being much of an abstract fan?
It's one of my favorite abstracts. I enjoy it. There's... the first couple of rounds, I thought, this is not going to be that great. But then kind of the light bulb went off and realized there's some kind of long-term strategy to it. But that said, it would not make my list.
Because it's abstract.
I mean, it's a fun little game. It's kind of, I wouldn't say mindless. It's not. It's a lot of
no, because there's too much strategy for that. Yeah.
Well, but then again, it's not like a brain burner. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know, it's you can play. You probably could play this two ways. You can play this pretty casually, or you can probably really think about it. But
I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much, because it is so versatile in that regard. Yeah. Because you can approach it a couple different ways, and so there you have it. Azul. Awesome abstract. I have a feeling it's possible. I don't know. I'm curious where this is going to be next year. I think it's probably going to stay. I really like
collection.
It's going to stay in our collection. Oh yes. Whether it's in my top 100.
Oh, okay.
All right. And now for the last one for today, folks. What of my top 10 lists would it be? I mean, what kind of list would I have if I don't throw in a Feld? A Stefan Feld game of rum and piratey goodness. Yar!
Oh, wow. This would make your list?
Yes. You know, and it's funny because you're like, light and fluffy, kind of silly. I love the fact that this is a light and fluffy Feld. Can you really say Feld is light and fluffy? If so, that's rum and pirates. This cracks me up. I don't know what it is about this game. I really enjoy playing it. You have the map and you're going to different locations, and you use your pirate crew, each one, you need to put one down for each step you take, basically. So you have to keep track of the fact that you're running out of, spaces that you can move. And at the end, you want to have a few pirates left over because you're duking it out for some victory points and scoring at the end of the round. So you may want to travel to more places, but then you won't have as much left behind at the end. It just kind of depends. It's an interesting balance. I really like the fact that you have secret objectives, so you can go and find somebody and have a secret rendezvous. And if you meet up at that other place, then you get extra thing. You can go to another place and fight over a treasure, but you also have to roll again and see if, scorpions attack you, I think it is.
Yeah.
Scorpions?
Yeah.
And you get a couple negative points along with your treasure. It's got dark alleys, so you can bounce off of one side of the board but come in on another side of the dark alley. It costs a little extra for you to sneak through there. I don't know what it is about this game. It's a simpler Stefan Feld game. It's not very point salady, except for because it
is kind of point salady.
It is point salady.
But it's only got like 4 or 5 different things.
It does, and you only can get them the same way, by traveling to those places to do them. So you're not doing something different to get them exactly, but you have to travel to those places and get them. Like one of them, you travel to one area and you get half of a map. And then you have to go to another area to get the other half of the map. Okay, it's the same thing as going to the bar or the tavern and you get victory points from doing stuff at the tavern. You're just traveling to different places. It's
Yeah,
slightly different.
The
but
bed wranglings is
at the end of the round
is different.
That's true, and I already mentioned that too. That's just kind of got 2 phases, I guess, for that. But yeah, it's a lighter Feld. If you want to kind of, I don't know that it's very indicative of how typical Feld games go though, because it is a lot lighter than what he normally, at least the ones that we like, the ones that we've played.
Yeah, I think if we played this after I made my list, it wouldn't have made my top 100, but looking, it may have made my top list of that I have in front of me, 185.
Yeah.
I think it would have been near the bottom somewhere.
But it would have been on there, is
Yeah.
the point. Yeah. And we got this very recently, and I don't know, there's just something about it. I just got a huge kick out of it, I think because of the theme and the silliness of the stuff you're doing. But again, you have to think about it. It's point salad. You can't just kind of give up and mindlessly play this game.
This has got a lot more randomness than a lot of his games has.
That's true. And yet, I still really enjoy it, so.
There's a lot of dice rolling.
There is,
without hardly any. I guess you have the rum barrels to mitigate it a little bit, but it's pretty much dice roll. There's a lot of luck.
It is, and normally that bothers me, but in this game, I just don't care. It's so light and silly, because it's like you fight in the bar for the victory points. You're like, it's a game of war. You're like, oh, I rolled higher, I win.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, it's not like it's so detrimental to you that you're like, oh, I hate this game. You know, it's just a minor, oh, I didn't get that bonus. That's basically what it boils down to. I think that's why I like this one. It doesn't just say, oh, you lose, you have to get rid of all the stuff you've built up. It doesn't do anything like that. So, that is my number 81, Rum and Pirates. So, that's it for my number 90 through 81. Feel free to leave messages in the comments if you have a top 100, what your, 81 through 90 would be. Or anything about the games that I had chosen. What do you like about them? What do you not like about them? We'd love to chat with you. And stay tuned for my next 10 next week.